Now that we have our kinks sorted out and got everything underway, we're ready to go live and racing for the Mulcahy 99 live here on V-Speed. Let's go ahead and get the grid up on the screen after this delay. We have to reset it here, but yeah, that actually is about accurate. So we're going to go back and show the grid for the top spot. Got Gordon starting on the pole with a 29.842. Jeff Burton will start to the outside. Row number 2 belongs to Rowdy Burns. Bobby Labonte will start in 4th. Pit spot going to Cal Naughton Jr. with Jimmy Johnson in 6th. 7th spot here with Tony Stewart. Dick Trickle will start in 8th. And rounding out your top 10, Terry Labonte, Kenny Wallace in the 81.
Behind them, the 6 of Mark Martin lined up next to the 46 of Cole Trickle. Then it's the 3 of Dale Earnhardt Sr. starting out P13 next to the 15 of Michael Waltrip. Behind them in 15th, the 26 of Ricky Bobby lining up next to rival Jean Girard in the 55. In 17th, the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. next to the 2 of Rusty Wallace. And last but not least, the 20-car field finishes up with the 1 of Martin Truex Jr. next to the 17 of Darrell Waltrip.
And live here tonight with Alan Bestwick, your host, and Mike Joy the GOAT. Peter Larson providing our in-car camera tech here this evening. And after kind of a bumpy start here, I'd like to apologize for that, but YouTube doing what it does best. We had an invert on the top 4. They go to the back of this field to start the race off, and we should get the 1 to green signal this time by. These drivers have been pacing an additional 7 laps here, so we're going to have Cal Naughton Jr. for the first time on V-Speed up front to start this race. A rival back there with Jean Girard and his teammate Ricky Bobby going to start in 15th position. Mike Joy analysis here today. 99 laps in the Mulcahy 99. This is a difficult racetrack, but with competition yellows, it should soften that a little bit.
Competition cautions on lap 25, 50, and 75. We'll regroup this field back up, line them all up 2 by 2, let them rip around here for another 25 laps each time we do it, all the way to that lap 99. And of course, 99% fuel for today's event. Unlimited tires available as well, but we'll likely only see that on those competition cautions. It's going to be all out fast, ready to get the show on the road here, Alan.
So with the 24, 99, 51, and 18 to the back of the field, Al Naughton will lead them into turn 1. It is throwback night, so if you do not see your favorite driver's name on their race car, just know that everyone here at VRX is joining in a real-life counterpart. And if you don't see the paint scheme proper on the race cars, just know that I tried my best to refresh every single second before we went live and was not able to do that. But we are going to take 1 additional pace lap here. I think everything's sorted out. So if we have the lights off on the pace car, we should this time by. And that 30-second delay here on the broadcast. Of course, our cameras actually provided here by Dougie Beard, and I would like to establish that Dougie does a fantastic job. Of course, my name is Bradley Cooper alongside Logan Threlkeld, but for immersion purposes, every driver here in a real-life counterpart, and the Mulcahy FU penalty putting Jeff Gordon to the tail end of the field, failing tech inspection is what I would chalk that up to.
That sounds fair enough to me. A reasonable explanation for those top 4 to be at the back of the field, but we'll see what they can do to work their way back up to their spots where they would have originally started this race.
So, Mike, I would have to ask you, is there a proper way to get to the front of this race with these competition cautions? Because we're going to be on relatively fresh tires, but 100% fuel. And with 95 degrees on the track surface, it's come down a degree since we first started pacing. That's going to be difficult.
It could be difficult. It could be easy for some of these drivers. It's going to be all about survival and avoiding the carnage on the track.
Here we go for special event here from VRX. The Mulcahy 99 at Charlotte Motor Speedway is underway. Cal Knowlton and Jimmy Johnson on the front row into turn one. Already Jeff Burton spinning out in the background.
Multiple cars wrapped up in that one. The 99 of Jeff Burton, the 2 of Rusty Wallace. I think even Gordon got a little bit of action in there.
And Johnson takes the lead with the 24. Gets a piece of it. Let's take it back on a replay. What was Jeff on Jeff crime? A lot of checkup on the outside. A lot of wheel spin.
Again, no cautions other than the competition cautions, so keep it green and clean here, flying down the back straight. Jimmy Johnson has gotten around Cal Naughton Jr. Johnson with a hefty lead, half a second now. But look at Cole Trickle trying to work through the inside here. That 46 gets by. Made it look easy down there in the bottom of turns 3 and 4.
And the City Chevrolet taking the top spot, riding the white and blue line here through the corner. The only way we make this better is if we had the Legacy Charlotte racetrack available to us. But Trickle already making up 10 spots to get up here to the second position.
Even Naughton Jr. not falling too far behind. Mark Martin right behind, however. Side by side behind them, Jean Girard, Michael Waltrip. Girard around the outside. Tony Stewart at Home Depot number 20 trying to get by. Takes it down to the bottom now. Not close enough to make a move on Waltrip.
Mark Martin makes a pass for the third position. Back here behind, though, that move from Tony Stewart and the 20, trying to get around the 15. You also have the 3 of Dale Earnhardt on the outside, trying to run it out wide in 8.
Now with Senior. Tries to make it stick on the top. You see the loose conditions just ahead for Waltrip. The entry of turn 3 proving to be a little difficult here already, Alan.
Well, that's a team driver up there in the 15. Owner in the 3 car for Earnhardt. But for the 15 right now, it is a matter of prove that it's worth it here. Driving for the 3, but look at the 51 of Rowdy Burns all the way on the inside. Must have been a checkup here from Waltrip. And I would have to say that's kind of sacrilege what I'm seeing there. I'm not sure how they got that manufacturer change over at DEI for this week, but somebody should let Darrell Waltrip know he climbed into the wrong car.
That might be the issue for today as Waltrip loses another spot. Stewart gets by, now Earnhardt to the inside.
If I was Earnhardt, I would put the 15 in the wall. Changed badges on that car just before this race. We'll probably see him up here in the booth here momentarily.
While at the front, Johnson still with a commanding lead, 0.4 of a second over Cole Trickle, but Trickle making his way up through the field in a rapid manner. It's only a matter of time before we see that 48 and the 46 side by side for that race lead.
Last time by, and I don't know if you have the metrics there for lap 1, but it was 30.168 for lap 1. They've since turned it up to 29.7. So a lot more speed here compared. Those tires get heated up, get a lot faster as this race will progress. However, they're just shy of a third of the way through this run. I'd say just over it now. Competition caution going to come out, reset this field, and get them group backed up. So 48's lead will mean nothing here in about 15 laps.
Track position will be key, however. Keeping it up at the front and out of the dirty air. We see where those conditions are already wreaking havoc. Trouble!
90 car around.
Big trickle hard into the wall. Light connection issue there as well. We'll take it back here on the V-Spins replay. Break down what happened to Trickle. Looks like Earnhardt a little loose on the bottom. Some contact made. The right rear to the left rear, and then pinball. Gordon, what a save by Gordon. Ends up getting collected anyways, but puts it up into the wall, gets that car repaired mid-track. Keeps it going down the back straight, loses a couple positions for the 24 machine.
Well, I know that Jack Canales and Ray Evernham put everything they had in the technology to make that front bumper reappear as it was getting hit. A lot of work goes into these teams every single week, but what that 24 team has been doing this 2004 season is nothing short of a miracle.
With all that carnage there, the 81 of Kenny Wallace has caught up to Gordon. I don't know how long that will last. Gordon has been fast already. Oh, more issues on the front straight. One going down through the grass. That's Jeff Burton in the 99.
I think this week Ward is actually driving the car down to the inside. This could be Ward Burton. We'll have to get a word when we get an opportunity with the driver of the 99 to confirm that.
Look at the drive off turn 4 as Gordon working the outside line.
That's a wall.
Trying to get around Earnhardt Jr. Makes it stick on the outside. Contact made.
Like father, like son. He tried.
Wasn't trying to wreck him. He just wanted to rattle his cage, Alan.
When Mike, you watch these guys, they look a little out of control here already, 15 laps in. Kind of thankful that these competition yellows come out. And I think the only thing missing here is we need a Carl Edwards out here to wave that yellow flag. I'm sure that if you're Jimmy Johnson, you probably feel like Carl Edwards, seeing that caution come out for no reason other than it's been premeditated.
John Girard with issues on the back straight into turn 3. Big issues down into turn 1. 47 involved.
And Mark Martin just took out Cal Naughton Jr.
51 of Rowdy Burns also involved in that one.
They were grouping up 3 wide here. Six off the wall. Hits the 47. 51's involved. Rowdy Burns. And that sets the 47 all the way back to 6th.
Could have been much worse of a loss. Rowdy Burns back to 8th now. I believe that just let by Ricky Bobby. Now Burns at threat from Bobby Labonte, trying to work the outside line. Martin and Cole Trickle have been going at it here for the last couple of laps for that second place spot. Switching positions as Tony Stewart throws his name in the hat. It's about a 3-second gap from these second, third, fourth place cars back to the 5th and 6th place cars of Earnhardt Sr. and Cal Naughton Jr. There's a lot of action here towards the back with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip trading some spots, trading some paint even. Darrell Waltrip was trying to check out of that battle.
Michael Waltrip actually, and he has been very loose in the 15. Darrell, his brother, ahead of it, but the 15 and the 8 back and forth. And they're going to trade paint big time. This is not very teammate-like. I'm not sure what's going on with the 8 and the 15, but something must have been said in the pre-race. I think even Dale is upset that the 15 is in a Ford, and they just dumped each other.
Hard into the wall goes Junior in turn 2. 15 of Waltrip escapes pretty scot-free there. We're closing in on that lap 25 competition caution. These two will be very close to each other in that line. I'm sure some words and maybe hand gestures will be exchanged once we get them side by side again. Jimmy Johnson with a very commanding 1.5 second lead over Tony Stewart and Mark Martin. Junior brings it down pit road here.
This will put the 8 car a lap down. And I'm not sure if there was a rule for these competition cautions on coming down to the pit at lap 24. 48 into the wall. Johnson gets really tight there off of 4. He's going to hold on to the lead, but just lost about half a second.
Not more. Looks like Stewart really starting to close that gap. He's pulling Mark Martin with him. Apologize, it's not Mark Martin. That's Rusty Wallace there trying to get back here on the lead lap.
I think Rusty Wallace is going to get one of those laps back the old-fashioned way.
Certainly looks like he's got the potential to. Staying in tight as the two in front get closer. Will contact be made? Will a door open here for Wallace? Johnson into the wall down the back straight. Stewart to the inside. Pulls out of it, closes the door for Rusty Wallace. And our first competition caution flag waves, Alan.
Right at lap 25, and the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a black flag there. Intentional wrecking on his teammate Michael Waltrip. NASCAR asking him to come to the hauler after the race.
Conversation to be a fly on the wall for that one.
So Johnson going to get the first time of the pace truck coming out on the racetrack. Led all of the 25 laps completed. And I assume we'll come down pit road for 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles this time around.
I would imagine the entire field bringing it down for those fresh Goodyears. No need to top off on fuel just yet. Might add a little bit once we hit lap 75. Maybe that second competition caution right at that midway point of the race. But not needed just yet. Some fresh rubber. Send it around the racetrack again for another 25 laps.
There's the pull down. Looks like the two going to take the lucky dog. That's a pretty sizable gap back to Tony Stewart, so I would assume Johnson's going to keep the lead here. Rusty Wallace going to go by and misses the pit stall, so maybe the 20's going to take the lead away. A rare mistake here from Jimmy Johnson to slide through the stall.
All going to matter about how the 20 can get out of the pit box here. Away they go. Who's going to get to the line first? It's still going to be the 48 of Johnson.
I think Stewart might. All right. That was close.
Johnson needs to tip that pit crew a little bit extra this week. 14.2 in the box with the missed entry versus a 14.6 for Tony Stewart. That is the saving factor there for the 48 team.
This is how close the battle off of pit road was. Maybe a 100th of a second across that line. And Jimmy Johnson will be your leader when we go back green. Don't go anywhere. More coverage to continue live here on V-Speed.
Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Doubled back up here for lap number 28 of the Mulcahy 99. Jimmy Johnson led the first third of this race. Quarter, rather, of this race. We'll see if the 48 can do it again. Pace truck will make a left-hand turn this time by. It will be Johnson, Stewart, Roddy Burns, and Cole Trickle in the front two rows.
Watch
Green
out for the
flag
tire
is out.
spin.
There's a lot of tire spin, but the 48's able to power through it. Green flag back underway.
Much better restart this time than to start the race. The 48 out immediately, trying to regain back up to that 1.5 second lead that he had last time. Side by side behind is Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Jeff Gordon. Down to Jeff Burton, trying to get through the inside as well, but the power from the top line on the fresh tires, a lot of contact with the outside wall coming out of turn 4.
Gordon just gets really tight in that dirty air. It's going to allow Jeff Burton by after that mistake. We're watching Ricky Bobby in ninth here try to fend off Kenny Wallace. Wallace going to go by. There goes Labonte in the 5. Terry Labonte up to 10th.
Five on the recovery effort, started out P9. Fell back a little bit, had some issues early. Creeping their way back up into the top 10 now. A couple of drivers to get around. Wallace, Gordon, Burton, Earnhardt just ahead. Take a look at Rowdy Burns making the charge up to Johnson.
The stab at the lead there down the backstretch. 51 had a really good run out of turn 2, but that dirty air in turn 4 seems to be hurting this car. It's going to be a tough time here. You can hang with the 48, but he's taking that outside, holding it up there. Johnson doing a fantastic job. And Roddy Burns is going to have to figure out a way to get to his inside into 3 and 4. There it is.
Later on the brakes, but still that high line prevails. 48 gets away safely for now. Cole Trickle trying to make a move on Burns. Through the grass goes Jeff Burton behind him. Like some contact there with Cal Naughton Jr.
Watch your back here on the replay. See what happened to the 99. Now Naughton into the wall. 99 had nowhere else to go. The pass in the grass. I think that's where Dale learned it from.
That's normally we see it from the 3. This time coming out of the 99. Johnson has since gotten away from that battle with Burns for a little while at least. Burns with a great drive through 3 and 4 gets a much better exit. Might be able to get close to being side by side for turn 1 and 2. Not quite close enough, however.
Johnson's going to keep giving him that inside line. I don't see why he would change it up. You're going to keep running that high line and let the 51 burn the right front off of it.
He's going to fall in line using that middle line. Cole Trickle gets a great drive through the bottom of 3 and 4. Now taking a look to the inside of the 51. Will the 46 have anything to say for Jimmy Johnson?
We saw it earlier, really loose off of turn 2. Going to allow the 51 back to the outside. Holds it up there. That is the preferred line through 3 and 4, but really loose off of 4 too. Ours a handful. It's right on board with Cole Trickle.
Better that time out of the turn 2 exit. Had that big slide from the last 2 laps. Some air taken off the nose by Rowdy Burns. Under 90 miles an hour screaming down the front straight into the first corner.
And Dick Trickle has another problem. To the
sliding
inside.
To a halt right at pit road exit.
If Texas Terry had anything to help with it.
Contact with the wall, comes back down the track right across the nose of the 5 of Labonte. Does a 360 through the grass. There's a lot of ground there in the 90 machine. Here goes Rusty Wallace trying to work his way back up through the field. He's caught up with Ricky Bobby. 18 of Bobby Labonte as well. Well, Labonte and Martin have issues. Coming out of turn 2, Labonte barely gets out of the way down to the bottom of the track, but Martin still on the racing surface. That scrambles everybody. And the 6 of Martin just put him right up to the wall and came back across the nose, sliding along that outer fence. 18 barely got out of the way of the entire field.
And while that was happening, we had a change for the lead, so maybe a mistake by Jimmy Johnson. See if we can back that up and figure out what happened to the 48 car. Even further back than this, so we'll hit the button again. How far back do we need to go? We missed this change for the lead. Let's go back one more time.
You found it this time coming across the front straight. You see all the smoke down in turn 1. I believe that's from the issue with the 90 of Dick Trickle. It was just a drag race down the back straight. Still side by side all the way into turn 3. Then finally the 51 prevails. That makes our first official lap led by a driver not named Jimmy Johnson.
And looking to the inside, that's the 99 of Burton, finally working his way up into the top 5.
Oh, trouble again for the 6 of Mark Martin. Coming out of turn 4, we've got Dale Sr. backwards. Kenny Wallace wrapped up in it as well. Luckily, ends up facing the correct way. Not so lucky for the 3 of Earnhardt. Mark Martin wreaking havoc on the field today.
And the 3's around again in the live shot.
Down at the bottom of turns 1 and 2. What happened this time? Looked like still trying to get back up to speed after the initial incident here. Got it spun around, but Alan, we're also just a couple laps away from our second competition caution here.
Is Gene Gerard going to lap down there on the outside? Scotty Burns pulling away.
Big gap behind Burns to Jimmy Johnson. Johnson not safe from Tony Stewart at the moment. It's side by side behind Stewart between Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton. Gordon gets the best of the 99 coming out of turn 2. Up to the 4th position for the 24. Dive down into the corner is going to get closer to Tony Stewart. Stewart getting closer. Oh, issues. Jean Girard across the nose of Jimmy Johnson. Oh, big hit. Cole Trickle just drilled the side of that car of Jean Girard.
'55 of Girard got involved here with Johnson. Watch here off of turn 4. And then the 46 just nowhere to go.
Directly underneath the driver's window then. Gotta love that new technology, instantly repairing the car mid-race. So 51 of Burns brings it around to start lap 50. The caution flag will wave. That will be it for stage number 2. Carnage to end that one, Alan.
Yeah, a lot happening here, but I watched, a couple of different drivers start to challenge Johnson before that incident. The 48 had fallen back to that situation. So I want to venture to say, yeah, track temperature has changed about 5 degrees. That's going to make a big difference. And maybe for the 48, you could drive it a little bit harder. Track's going to cool down a little bit as we progress, and dynamic track data will take over. But the iRacing Pace truck out on for the second time, and Jeff Gordon letting the 51 know he's there for this round of pit stops.
So Burns, Gordon, Stewart, Burton, Naughton make up the top 5 going into the pits. Keep an eye on if that changes at all coming out of the pits. A couple drivers a lap down now. The 6 of Mark Martin, the 18 of Bobby Labonte, the 2 of Rusty Wallace, the 3 of Dale Earnhardt, The 55 of Jean Girard not currently showing on the track in the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Wallace and Earnhardt Sr. both 3 laps down. Junior 6 laps down. Martin and Labonte 1 lap down. As the field will make their way into pit road. Looks like Martin and Sr. will remain on the track. Jeff Gordon all over that back bumper. Rowdy Burns coming down pit road. Giving a little push and shove. Burns makes the box cleanly. Gordon makes the box cleanly, as well as Burton. Rusty Wallace, the first one out of the box. Rowdy Burns gets ahead of Jeff Gordon. Stewart will remain in 3rd. Jeff Burton remains in 4th, and Cal Naughton Jr. remains in 5th. Wallace tried his hardest to get out ahead of the field. Just couldn't quite get there in time. Get the field caught back up with the pace truck. I believe after this one, it'll be 1 to go at the line, Alan.
When I'm watching some of the drivers that had problems on pit road, it was 15.2 in the box for Darrell Waltrip, a very long pit stop, the longest of all these drivers. And then Martin Truex just beside that was actually the longest pit stop for the 1, a 15.8 in the box. So a couple drivers having some problems, some issues on pit road, maybe a loose lug nut for the 1. Taking a little bit longer to get back out on this racetrack. Rowdy Burns will be your leader for this restart, and the lights will go out on the pace truck. Halfway point here at the Mulcahy 99 Charlotte Motor Speedway. And a wave around for the 3. Dale Earnhardt will get back 1 of the 2 laps down.
Gordon's going to come down and give a little door shove to the 51. Says, I'm here. They're both going to get a tap from behind. We might see some fireworks on this restart here, Alan.
I really hope so. I really hope so. It's up at the front. It's been pretty spread out. I would like to see a challenge for the lead, especially on the restart, but it seems like the command car has such an advantage with the wheel spin. We're talking about 900 horsepower trying to connect to this racetrack. And if you're Rowdy Burns, you can time that a lot easier than the guy that you're outside. And again, all of these drivers, and their counterparts, Mike, are names in VRX, friends of Mulcahy and his family, to help put on this show. Green flag back underway at Charlotte. Lap 75, the final caution break in the 46th round.
Cole Trickle goes for a spin in front of everybody, takes air. I think Trickle just did a kickflip.
Lots of wheel spin with the 99 in front of him.
Man, what a big hit. I think that was more of a missed shift there from the 99.
Yeah.
A lot of air there for Cole Trickle. Rusty Wallace involved, a couple other drivers involved. So that separates everybody outside of the top 12. 4 seconds now from 1st to 12th.
The closest battle on the racetrack is between the 5 and the 15.
wait and see who can get the runs here. Pretty well single-filed out aside from this battle. Near contact entering turn 1. The 90 came up the track but kept it off of the nose. That slows up Michael Waltrip, now under fire from the 18. Bobby Labonte 1 lap down right now, so the pass doesn't matter. Earnhardt Sr. right behind. It's a switchback in 3 and 4. Crossover doesn't work though.
Fastest car on the racetrack right now is Rowdy Burns in the 51. We're at 29.9 last lap by Jeff Gordon, 0.03 of a second off in the 24. And Gordon into the wall. Into the wall again. That is
leading time right now to the leader, Burns.
There's the initial contact with the wall. And then does it again across the other side of the quad oval. No matter how many times you do that, that safer barrier is going to retract right back to where it was.
Just like that, the 24 retracts right back to where he was. Jeff Gordon lost time to Rowdy Burns, but kept it ahead of Jeff Burton and Tony Stewart. Got rather lucky with that one, Alan.
The luck's part of it. But if you watch on board, every time you hit that wall, it means you're pushing the right front on this car. And if you're burning the right front off of it, I know we're only doing 25 lap intervals, but that tire is going to give up before all the other ones. So it's going to be ill handling. You get 10, 15 laps into this run, and it's only going to get worse. You won't be able to stick to the bottom and get that track position or get that advantage on the guy in front of you. And I'm not really sure why I had a replay queued up there, but apparently there was something worth watching at some point. Here, Labonte, this is the cluster back here for 10th.
Big slide across that second part of the tri-oval. Ricky Bobby high up on the wall, keeps the hammer down, slingshot engaged. Gets right back around the 5. Almost lost that spot. Eight of Dale Jr. brings it back down pit road.
Seven laps down for the 8 car. Labonte around again.
Still having issues trying to collect it down to the apron. Mark Martin gets around the outside. Labonte finally back up on the racing surface. I was just about to talk about how these drivers need to make that adjustment after you were talking about the right front getting burned up quicker than the rest of the tires. These drivers will have to make that adjustment and really try to set these cars up on the right rear. If you're going to be pushing through the corner lap after lap like we're seeing, Alan, these cars need that quick mindset of trying to catch up that outside tire on the rear to the wear that's being seen on the front.
And it's Gene Girard in the 55 accepting defeat here this evening. The 55 is taking the flight back to France. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 9 laps down. Rusty Wallace still 3 down. Dale Earnhardt Sr. in 17th position, 2 laps down. Bobby Labonte would be the lucky dog position. 16th spot. Cole Trickle back in 15th after the contact there to start this run. And the closest battle on the racetrack right now is actually for the 20 car of Stewart and the 99 of Burton. Biggest mover of the race, Martin Truex Jr. started all the way back in 19th. Just ran his way up to 6th.
Don't forget, too, how Jeff Gordon started on the pole. What? With the Mulcahy FU penalty to start the race, started at the back. Would have been in the, I believe, 16th position.
Yeah.
So back up to the top three. However, that positions gain does not account for that. So quite the drive there for the 24 to get back up to the front. Of course, Rowdy Burns in the same boat. Would have started out in 19th. The 99 of Jeff Burton started out in second. So our top three to start the race from the qualifying session that got moved to the back have worked their way back up to the front. The only one that hasn't is that 18 of Bobby Labonte. Started out in fourth out of qualifying. Would have been the 20th car on the grid with the FU penalty. Goes to show the qualifying sometimes it does translate to the race itself.
Yeah, and to migrate back up here, it does help to have these competition yellows and puts this field group back up. So you gain a few spots on the long run. You get group back up to the next three, you gain a few more, and eventually, you work your way from the tail end of this field. However, you can see it's kind of stagnated now. Once they got back up here, it's leveled off for about where they started this race. And the only thing that's different is Rowdy Burns started in third and to go deeper through this field and ends up in the top position by 2.4 seconds. Kenny Wallace and Truex Jr. side by side. This is for sixth.
Forget Jimmy Johnson ended up coming out in 14th after the last pit. He's worked his way back up to the 8th spot. Gets around some of that lap traffic area, the 18 of Labonte. It's a big drive up to Truex Jr. We're only 4 laps away now from seeing this group getting put back together for the last restart of this race, Alan.
As we wind down for this final caution, 4 laps left. Rowdy Burns showing the lead by 2.6 seconds. This is a fixed setup race, but Burns has proven they know the line around Charlotte Motor Speedway. The top 4 with Burns, Gordon, Burton, and Stewart. Cal Naughton Jr. in the top 5. Kenny Wallace working his way back up through there. Got around Martin Truex. And as I watch this run progress, I would say that Truex might be a threat here at the tail end of this race.
Johnson into the wall out of turn 4. Still being pressured by the 18 of Labonte. Now to pass 4 position. Labonte gets around through the inside. Ricky Bobby would be a pass 4 position just behind Johnson. Wonderbread 26. Oh, into the wall goes Ricky Bobby. This is all that ground that was just gained. As Rowdy Burns comes down through turn 3 and 4. This time by, that yellow flag will wave. Just pushes up out of the corner there in the 26 machine. Hard contact with the wall. As Burns crosses the line and brings out her 3rd stage competition caution.
So Burns going back to back here. Lap 50 and lap 75. It was the 48 of Jimmy Johnson who led the first 25 laps. Mistake there midway through the lap run between 25 and 50. Put the 51 up front. And now our final race break of the evening. It will be just under 25 to go when we go back green. Does the 51 have enough to hold off the 24 and the 99? Green flag pits or caution flag with pit stops here on lap 76, this time by.
Gordon gets into the back of Burns, sends him up the racetrack there, catching up to the pace truck.
I'm sure some exchanges on the radio there, Mike, about wrecking under caution, but you got quite a few guys just roughing each other up, showing their displeasure with this race so far. And I just got to wonder if the 24 maybe had something happen to him, and the 99 is going to get in the back of him. So seems like a lot of people not happy with each other.
This might be the restart where we see the big one, Alan.
Wheel spin has happened a couple times already. Cole Trickle got involved there with a misshift from the 99 to start off lap 50. Cost the 46 about 10 spots there. Will we see 2 tires from anyone on this call?
And trying to get up underneath that rear bumper of Burns again, coming down pit road. Who makes the cleaner stop?
Oh, it's going to be close here off the exit of pit road, I have a feeling. Haven't seen any 2-tire calls yet. It's like 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles across this entire field. Down and away for the 24 by a long shot. He'll take the lead to start it off for the last 25 laps.
Just outside of the camera there, we had the 46 of Cole Trickle. Unhappy about something. Ended up parking it sideways on the exit of pit road. That could have been part of the reason why Rowdy Burns might not have gotten out as well as possible. A lot of drivers having to avoid that neon green and yellow City Chevrolet car.
And Cole Trickle has taken an early exit for the night.
This will change things up, Alan. Seeing Jeff Gordon in control of this race start.
I'd have to say we've seen Rowdy Burns pull away from this field, but he hasn't had to really deal with dirty air. And the 24 shown some speed to get back up here. But this will be the first time the 24 has been in the lead. Now, clean air might make a difference, but at the same time, Gordon has had a problem coming off of turn 4. We watched 2 wall tags within 1,000 feet of each other, so you can't afford that. If you're the leader, you do not want to bleed any time, and I can guarantee that Rowdy Burns will be there to capitalize on it. Jeff Burton, Cal Naughton Jr., and Kenny Wallace, the top 5. Look out for the one of Martin Truex. Has worked up 12 spots, biggest mover of the race so far. Cole Trickle, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Gene Girard have all taken an early exit here this evening. And a few listed names here. Kenneth Blackburn, of course, in the Martin Truex number 1. John Hudson in Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car. Doug Helfer, Terry Labonte, David Collins, and Mark Martin. Rob Stanners with the early exit. Dale Earnhardt Jr. here tonight. Casey Ellis was supposed to drive Ryan Newman's number 12. He had Jeffrey Hunter and Michael Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip with Brian Duncan, Kelly Walton, Bobby Labonte. Then you have Ed Fiedler with Tony Stewart, Brian Hennings leading this race, and Jeff Gordon's number 24. Mike Chivers is driving for Ricky Bobby, Jackson Wheeler, Cole Trickle. Then you have Dane Shivers, Cal Naughton Jr., Chris Phillips for Jimmy Johnson, Philip Willis, Rowdy Burns, playing a lot of laps, Chase Rockford, Paul McDonald. You have Gene Girard and Kenny Wallace. Teresa Spiker is driving for Dick Trickle, and Benjamin Richards for Jeff Burton. Green flag back underway for the final 20
More
laps
trouble.
and the 15 into the grass.
2 up into the wall. It's the 90 and the 5. Big spin up there for the 90 of Dick Trickle. Makes contact with the 15 of Waltrip. And the 5 just nowhere to go for Labonte. here with the 90 of Trickle. Ends up backwards along that outer wall. Going the right way now. Jeff Gordon, Rowdy Burns have gotten away from the rest of the field, but like they might be coming up on some lap traffic early on in this run. Jimmy Johnson has worked his way back up to the top 4, trying to get around Jeff Burton for a podium finish.
And then these closing laps, no more pit stops. We had unlimited tire sets, 99% fuel. These cars are going to be pushed to the limit. This is the final 20 to run this thing out here. In the Mulcahy 99, Jeff Gordon with the lead by 0.3 of a second. Clean Air doing wonders for the 24.
Won't be clean for too long, as that is the 5 of Terry Labonte just up the road. Labonte, get out of the way.
I'm sure Hendrick on the radio to tell the 5 your teammate is on the lead and they're coming in fast.
A while back to Jeff Burton. Jimmy Johnson has fallen off of the rear bumper, the 99. Now under fire from Cal Naughton Jr. Kenny Wallace right there in the equation as well in the 81. Naughton nearly getting into the back bumper of Johnson. Wallace taking a peek to the inside. Dives it down to the bottom for 3.
Burns going to take the lead back from the 24. Mistake there out of turn 4.
Take a look and see. I'm expecting more contact with that wall out of turn 4. And it is a big hit for the 24 machine. Opens the door right up for the 51. Shoots through the inside with no problems.
And another wall touch there.
Gordon struggling.
This looks like the 51 could just run away with it at this point. 15 laps to go. It is Rowdy Burns' race to lose. Still has the 5 just ahead. Have to navigate some lap traffic here.
Kellogg Chevy could play devil's advocate here. Battle for P4 hasn't quite subsided. Further behind that, Tony Stewart still trying to fend off Martin Truex Jr.
I thought Truex would pick it up here at the tail end of this race and gain a lot of positions. Ended up losing 3 spots on this restart. So the one back behind Tony Stewart and Mark Martin was running in 7th on that last green flag drop. And it's Ricky Bobby. It's worked back up 8 positions. Very close. Darrell Waltrip close to actually tied for the most positions gained. Bobby Labonte never able to get that lap back. Had to come down pit road. Jeff Gordon hanging tight, though, with Rowdy Burns, keeping him honest.
Naughton to the inside of Johnson. Gets by through turns 1 and 2. You have to wonder, Alan, if Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr. get together, do we see any shake and bake action?
I don't know if the 26 can get up here, but it's going to take that, I think, for Ricky Bobby to get to the lead. Talking a 2-car difference here in a long race. Still plenty of time. But I don't think they're going to get up here to the front. 24 navigates his teammate. Ends up losing a 10th that lap. 24 on board.
Still pushing out high out of turn 4. Makes more contact with the wall. Gets left side tires through the grass. Wouldn't want a chance at this race win. Need to make the adjustment on the corner exit. Can't be scrubbing time as much as he is coming out of the corner like that. Scraping the wall lap after lap. That's your 10th loss there. You do that every time? 10 laps won't be enough to come back.
A long road ahead there. You look at the interval on top of your screen. We'll show it in just a moment between the 51 and the 24. You can see Trickle, Earnhardt, Gerard all taking an early exit. Gerard 44 laps down now. 17 laps down for the 8. 8 brought it back down pit road. Jimmy Johnson battling. Ricky Bobby going to go by for 6. Almost a crossover there from the 48. Bobby going to try to chase down Kenny Wallace in these closing laps.
Stewart even gets by.
Spots. Yeah, Johnson making a mistake there through the quad open. Track changed a lot. Starting to revert back to its 99 degrees, getting closer to where we started this race. But that's where Johnson had the best car. Still not quite there, and that's where the 51 had kind of taken over the lead and has set sail. Just under a full second for the 51, continuing to drive away through 1 and 2.
Like you said, Alan, this is Rowdy Burns' race to lose at this point. Out of turn 2, makes it a 1.2 second lead over Jeff Gordon. And nobody up the road to create any sort of dirty air. '51 just has to not make mistakes.
It's going to take a lot here to maintain this car, and touched on the pre-race. This is 900 horsepower that we're trying to connect to this racetrack. That's why you're seeing these guys push up off the corner. It takes a lot longer to let it roll through the center. That's why you've seen so many drivers struggle off the exit of turn 4. That banking shallows out a lot quicker through that portion of the racetrack. We'll go on board one more time with 5 laps to go. On board with Jeff Gordon, and almost gets into the outside wall off of 2. You can see how much counter steer you're having to put into this car just to keep it right.
4 to go this time by. Burns crosses the stripe. Bonnie through the grass behind. Two of Rusty Wallace has worked his way back up. Still 3 laps down. Not the race that Wallace was wanting to have. Luck did not fall in the way of the 2 Machine 9.
Wallace starting 4 laps down here this evening. Rowdy Burns going to maintain this lead. We'll get the 2 to go signal for the Exxon 51 down the backstretch. Jeff Gordon 1.5 seconds behind. Jeff Burton has caught up to him. We could have a closing battle for 2 to go.
Pushed out wide of turn 2 again. Yeah, just a couple more times here. I think Jeff Burton might be able to take over P2 without competition.
Based off of this lead, I don't think anyone's going to contest it. There doesn't appear to be any lap traffic in the way. And it's going to be white flag in the air for Rowdy Burns. One more time around, 1.5 miles. A massive lead. 24 and 99 could go at it here. Burton going to try to set up the exit to turn 2. Not able to get the run off of the corner. Does he have anything for him in 3 and 4? It does not appear to be. Waltrip and Martin trade positions across the line there. And off of turn 4, it's Rowdy Burns with the victory in the Mulcahy 99. The mistake there by Martin ends up costing him a couple spots. And still, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, the top 3. Rowdy Burns getting the victory here in this special event for VRX.
What a drive by Burns. Come away victorious here at Charlotte. Multiple laps led, took 2 stage wins, and ultimately the overall win. 51 brings it back to the start-finish line. Burn it down here in front of the fans at Charlotte. Now it looks like we're going to have a call for everybody to come to the start-finish line in celebration of the successful Mulcahy 99 tonight. Tell you what, you won't find anything like this anywhere else. Trouble.
Yeah, I'd say. Jody Stewart just eclipsed the moon across the start-finish line. Post-race interviews with your top 3 and those final race results in just a moment's time. You're watching the Mulcahy 99 on V-Speed, where coverage continues in just a moment.
Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1, 2, 3 finish.
Welcome back here to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the Mulcahy 99 presented by VRX has concluded. 99 laps at this 1.5 mile speedway with 3 competition yellows. The results up with your screen here, with Rowdy Burns getting the victory, Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton, the top 3 that started this race. Top 3 that finish it. 3 lead changes here today as well, and 2 of those amongst the top 3 drivers. But the 48 of Jimmy Johnson led some laps. He led the first 26 or so under green. Ends up falling all the way back to 9th. You have Kyle Naughton Jr. finishing in 4th. Kenny Wallace in 5th. Tony Stewart, Ricky Bobby, Martin Truex Jr. in the 1, finishing 8th. There's Johnson in 9th, and Darrell Waltrip rounding out your top 10.
Johnson actually ended up having 38 laps led on the event. But the back half of the field will contest of the 15, Michael Waltrip taking home P11. The 90 of Dick Trickle taking home 12th. The 6 of Mark Martin having some issues here tonight. Takes home 13th with Terry Labonte 1 lap down in 14th. Bobby Labonte right behind in the 18 machine, 1 lap down as well in 15th. Dale Earnhardt Sr. takes home 16th, with Rusty Wallace behind the 2, takes home 17th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 machine takes home 18th. Cole Trickle and Jean Girard will round out the 20 car field, not making it all the way to the end of this one.
So with those final race results, it's time to bring up victory lane. And the first driver that we get to talk to this evening, after running 99 laps, Rowdy Burns is victorious. And we've caught up with the driver of the number 51. Rowdy Burns, it's Bradley Cooper and Alan Beswick as Bradley Cooper. Mike Joy up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, I tell you what, once you got to the lead, it looked like it was smooth sailing. Clean air always pays dividends in this Gen 4 stock car, but it looked like it was a long road to get there. What was the secret, though, to getting around here at Charlotte tonight, the patience and the speed that this car has?
Well, you just said it right there, patience, because you can burn your rubber up here real quick if you're trying to do too much too fast. So run it out till you get the chance to stick your nose in there on the bottom and keep it down and be easy on the entry of the corners and throttle off. That's the secret with this car. And I love this race car. This is where I started out in iRacing back in 2009. So I've had a little bit of experience with this car, and this is a race car. This is what they should be.
That's very well said there by Rowdy Burns, a.k.a. the alternate alias, Philip Willis, coming home victorious. We saw you lead 55 laps. And it was a barn burner of a race, a little bit over halfway in control of the 51. Now, Bradley kind of took the question I had lined up for you, but, you know, it all comes down to, like you said, patience. Now, whenever you started in P2, Jeff Gordon had race control coming out into that final stage caution. What were your thoughts going through your head? Did you think that there'd be a little bit of a battle there between the 24? We also saw the 99 of Burton starting to work his way up there and maybe had a challenge for you.
I was hoping for it to kind of be a little closer than that, but I know Jeff Gordon had a little problem hitting the wall on the exit of the turns a little bit, so that kind of hurt his nose a little bit. But yeah, I was kind of hoping to be a little bit closer than that, make it interesting. But hey, it is what it is. I'll take it.
Well, Philip, Rowdy, as I'll say, I know this was a special event and a lot of special people helped put it on. So go ahead and shout those people out. And again, congratulations here on the victory.
I appreciate it. Thanks to VRX for putting this on, and everybody that's come out tonight. I appreciate being invited to do this. This has been fun. Obviously, we're doing it for good cause. We miss Kevin, and for Kevin's family that's watching this, I hope we've honored him well tonight. So thinking of the family and friendship that we had with Kevin, and we hate that we lost him at the end of last year, but this is a good way to honor his memory and something that hopefully we can continue to do each year.
Rowdy Burns / Philip Willis, victorious here at Charlotte. Led over half the laps here today. Congratulations, and hopefully we get to see you next time.
Thanks, sir, and y'all have a good night. Appreciate it.
Moving down through our top three, it's our second place finisher now. And that's going to be the number 24 of Jeff Gordon. Well, I got to ask. Yeah, I got to, no, just don't even try to impersonate him. I mean, at no point, you would have to complain and cry as much as you possibly could. And even then, I don't think it's enough.
I would like to complain about the Rowdy man, but yes, go ahead.
Well, I got to say, and we've been giving everyone's counterparts at this point in the race, but Brian, it was turn 4 wall. I think that got you too many times here tonight. You made that mistake, and once you got out to the clean air, I didn't know if maybe it was the dirty air that was causing that issue, or maybe you pushing the car, but it seemed to just always sneak up on you.
Yeah, just not a lot of experience with the car just yet, and yeah, it was fun with that last restart, getting some clean air and actually leading a couple of laps. But yeah, my favorite, I love the wall too much, and cost me again. And old Phil Rowdy got on by, and yeah, reminds me of a certain series we just ran not that long ago.
Well, we're used to seeing the 24 up at the front of the field, in real life at least. Did a great job of representing that. I don't care what Alan has to say about the interview shenanigans, I guess, but Six
Yeah.
laps led for you. Not a bad race by any means. We got the joy of watching you drive from the back of the field after receiving the Mulcahy FU penalty to start the race. Now, tell me a little bit about that drive. How much fun did that prove to be in the driver's seat?
It was fun to do. I mean, this track comes with the game. Lots of people, know this track quite well. Yeah, I've ran it a lot too, and I've been a victim of that quite a bit. When you just, you start off right away and just try to go burn off as fast as you can, and usually end up getting past 10, 15 laps later. So I try to just sit back and just let it roll for a little bit and not eat up the tires, and then it kind of worked, and I was able to then finally start moving up through the field. And those first two cautions, I got pretty back, near the front, and yeah, it was fun to do. So really appreciated the drive today from everybody. It was a fun thing to be a part of. That's for damn sure.
Ryan, I know that this car was difficult to handle. You did it well, though. You got back up. You started on the pole. You went all the way to the tail end of this field, and you end up back on the podium. Congratulations. And I know this is a special event for you and help putting this on. Anybody you have to shout out for this successful Mulcahy 99?
I'm just going to leave it with the reason why we're here, Kevin. We miss you, buddy. The Mulcahy family. Hope this brings you something. We just miss him a lot, and wish he was still here with us. So I'm just going to leave it with that. Love you, Kevin. We miss you.
Jeff Gordon driving the number 24 here today. We appreciate you coming up and talk to us.
Thanks, Ben.
And finally, it's time to talk to our third place finisher. It's Jeff Burton in the number 99. And starting this race off, Jeff, it looked like it was a handful. A lot of carnage coming your way, a lot of contact. And at one point, the 99 made a pass in the grass. So there was a lot happening for you. Somehow you managed to get this thing under control and wrangle it to a top three.
Do not ask me how I got a top three. This is only the second time I've ever raced this car. I think Kevin was actually behind the wheel and just in my body. That's how I got up here.
Well, we go back. We were talking about counterparts, and sorry to cut you off there, Mike Joy. But we've been talking. This is, of course, the number 99 driven here by Benjamin Richards. But you go through this race, through the progressions. This is the second time you've ever driven this car. Are you a fan of it?
Right now, I'm a huge fan of it at Charlotte. Let me see how I do at a different track.
Well, you certainly put on a show for us today here, and it was a fantastic drive for you. Like Alan had mentioned, the pass through the grass was one of the more notable situations of the day. Now, I'm curious, you say you don't quite know how you got here, but you deserve to be here, and you came away with the third place finish. Now, my question would be, how important do you think the timing of those competition cautions were to kind of regroup the field? Did that play benefit for you at all, or how are you feeling about that?
Well, if I remember right, I was starting to catch the people ahead of me at that point, you know, a half a tenth here and there. So if we wouldn't have had the cautions and had to make green flag stops, I think I'd have done well because I was kind of babying my tires. So the cautions kind of hurt me, but they also helped me.
Well, Ben, it seemed like you figured it out there as the race progressed. You started up front, kind of fell through the field, had some problems, was able to adapt and overcome that, even with the track temperatures and the high horsepower of this car. But finally, I got to ask you, who do you have to thank for tonight's podium?
First and foremost, Kevin Mulcahy. Miss that man so much. He was just meant so much to me and everyone in this Discord and to you broadcasters. Um, Paul McDonald for always keeping me calm. Keegan Sabilio for showing me how to drive. VRX for everything they do for myself and the community. V Speed, obviously, everything they do. You and uh, Alan and Mike and my wife Tony for allowing me to do this stuff every night.
There you have it. It's Jeff Burton, driver behind the wheel here tonight. Benjamin Richards, we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us, and we hope to see you back here at VRX sometime soon on V-Speed.
Sure thing. And by the way, at the end of the race, my battery was starting to go bad. Go figure, in a battery-sponsored car.
Yeah, maybe you need to upgrade there and get the X-Side durables, and maybe next week we come on to the broadcast. Next time we come on here, we might have a sponsor change, maybe get some free ones.
Right. All right, guys, thank you very much. I can't wait to go back and watch this. I know you guys did a top job.
Except for the start.
Broadcast.
You know, a little delay.
That happens. Tech issues.
Yeah, we got through it though. Yeah, YouTube being YouTube, but we'll try to get back to it, and hopefully the next one is even better. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
There you have it. Third place finisher in the number 99. And that's going to wrap things up for us here in this broadcast. It was another good one. I know in the pre-race we kind of missed some things, and it was one of those races where things could have went wrong, but thankfully the racing admins, I believe Tony Richards was up there paying attention to things and was able to prolong that race and put us on the right track.
Yeah, fantastic. Shout out to all those involved behind the scenes and even on the track and making this happen here today. Of course, wonderful to be a part of the Mulcahy 99. Obviously, a very loved individual by this group over here at VRX. Just very proud to be here, a part of it. Happy to have been here with you, Alan. It was quite the show that we had today.
So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's action. If you did, hit the subscribe button, and just know we don't have some kind of personality disorder. I am Bradley Cooper, then joined up here by Logan Threlkeld. Our cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But for the sake of lore, we're going to put this thing on with Alan Beswick and Mike Joy, the GOAT, up in the broadcast booth. Some of our personal favorites in NASCAR in this era. But that's going to do it for tonight's coverage of the Mulcahy 99. For Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, my co-host here tonight, Logan Threlkeld, Asmag Joy. This is Bradley Cooper, Alan Beswick saying so long from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We thank you for joining us here on the broadcast. I miss you dearly, Kevin Mulcahy. We'll see you next time. Stay tracking, everybody.